All right, cool. All right, so I'm going to jump into it. We're going to have Wally introduce himself in a second, but first of all, welcome to today's webinar workshop. I am recording this, so for those of you that are asking questions, oh, there's Richard too. Hi, Richard. So for those asking questions around recording, we're definitely going to record it and we'll share out some goodness with you guys after. So today's workshop is Scaling with Certainty, How to Find and Fix the Growth Gaps in Your Business. I'm Kevin McCann from Executive Strategy Group, and I'm super excited to share some cool and tactical and strategic ideas with everyone today. So today's workshop, it's all about you guys, not about me. I'm just giving you the space and the framework to reflect on your business. And I want to leave you with some clarity and some actionable next steps that you can actually take and execute later today, tomorrow, next week. This is going to be interactive and collaborative. So get ready to roll your sleeves up and get familiar with the chat button, because we'll be using that a bunch. All right, so that said, my big promise to you today is to essentially, by the end of this workshop, you're going to have a good sense of where your business is strong, where there's some hidden gaps that might be holding your business back, small shifts that could unlock some major growth. You're going to see which of those gaps are costing you the most money when you start rating or ranking yourself. You'll see that in a second. And then you're also going to walk away with some tools that you can use right away. Does that sound good? If it does, everyone just give me a 1 in the chat. Got to test this out, get your muscles flexing. 1, Wally, good. Gerhard's got it, Gail's got it. Richard and VJ, you in there? Yep, VJ gave me a thumbs up.
VJ gave it the thumbs up, that's great.
I'll take that, VJ. And then Richard, you got in your chat, just give me a 1. It's coming. Oh, Richard's gone. He'll be back. Okay, so let me move this to here. So then if you stay to the end, I've got another little goodie for you. We're calling it the toolbox for scaling with certainty. So so knowledge is great, but I don't want to just leave you with a bunch of ideas. You're like, that was awesome, and then you never use it. I want to leave you with actual tools that you can plug into your business today. So at the end of the presentation, I'm going to give you a link to this growth toolbox, which is one of the many tools that we actually use to help our clients accelerate their sales and marketing. So you'll get that gratis at the end of today's presentation. So now I'd like to introduce Wally Dwyer. He's a good friend of mine. We go way, way, way back. And he's going to share a little bit about Main Street Bank and how Main Street Bank can help some of the attendees on today's webinar and also watching the recording. So Wally, take it away.
Jamie's given us some talking points, but Main Street Bank is a mutual bank established in 1860. Our roots go back a long way. What's important to us, one of our core elements of our mission is we believe that we are stronger when we support one another. And that's not just inside, that's our job. As a mutual bank, we exist for the benefit of our customers and our communities. Of course, our employees are an important stakeholder as well. But, we're very pleased to be able to introduce you to Kevin today. He's right. We've known each other for a really long time. I will say this is totally gratis. I've joked with Kevin in the past and said, of course it's a bit of a commercial for his business, but this is a zero obligation presentation. Both his company, Executive Strategy Group, and Main Street Bank believe that, hey, if we can't add value, then we don't deserve to take anything from you. But we also believe in providing something of value right up front to demonstrate that, we're sincere and we really want to help you succeed. If you're succeeding, we're succeeding. That's the way we look at it. I can promise you that if you pay attention through this whole presentation, you will take away at least one meaningful tidbit. I've said it privately with Kevin before, but we did something similar to this. Gosh, it was probably 10 years ago. Yeah. And Kevin mentioned something that I have continued to go back and quote to other people. And he said, you're proud of yourself for getting all your business from referrals, aren't you? And I said, yes, I am. And I was kind of pumped up about it. And then he said, let me ask you, how many times have you gotten those referrals and said, not exactly the deal I'm looking for, but let me see what I can do. And I'll, try and jam that square peg into the round hole. And I said, boy, that is quite a bit. Probably more than half of those referrals aren't exactly what we're looking for. And he said, boy, how about if you spend all of your time looking for round pegs instead of trying to jam square pegs into those round holes? And it was kind of an epiphany for me. And when I think about the time I've wasted and my team has wasted, that was a great takeaway. And I know he's going to have a few of those for you today. So hopefully enjoy it. If nothing else, we've all made a couple of new friends, and looking forward to seeing where Kevin takes us.
Thanks, Wally. Appreciate that. And yes, actually, I'm going to cover some of that on today's workshop, where we talk about making sure that you get the right messaging for the right target audience, and you can make it so that, like, the better your messaging, the more referable you will be to the right people. So there's a couple people on this call today that I'm in the process right now of trying to refer business to other people and try to make connections. The better and the more clear your value proposition, the higher the success of those intros and the referrals become. So quick background, quick bio on me. I've spent the last 20 plus years helping growth-minded or growth-directed companies accelerate their revenue. I'm familiar with what it takes to scale. I grew a company when I was in Silicon Valley from about 6 million to 60 million in revenue in an 18-month period. And it was kind of like capturing lightning in a bottle, but it was a lot of what I'm about to share with you today that made that possible. So a proven track record. Couple other things. I specialize in partnering and really helping founders, entrepreneurs, CEOs find and fix the gaps in their growth. So that's what today is all about, is like, let's put a magnifying glass on our businesses, take some peeks into where we may have some gaps that are easy to fix, or at least identifiable, so that we can go to work on them and use this as a jumping off point for making the success in the Q4 and beyond in our business this year. So what I'll share with you today really isn't theory. It's exact frameworks and systems that we've been using in the field, I've seen in the field with real companies like yours. So coming into today's call, I did some research and preparation on some stats that we're seeing out there on the landscape, this 2025 landscape for CEOs, and what data tells us about priorities. And I wanted to run these by you guys so you can kind of give me some feedback and see where you are on these stats. So the first stat was this from I think it's the Oliver Wyman Forum. And by the way, I'm going to have these slides available for you at the end of the presentation too. So don't feel like you have to take screenshots of all these unless you want to, but I'll have those for you as well. So 68% of CEOs cite growth as their top priority, but 70% say cost management is a top 3 concern. So I'm curious if you could put in the chat, which is your biggest concern right now? Is it growth? Is it cost reduction? Is it both? So give me a 1, 2, or 3 in the chat if you would. 3, both. Growth. There we go. 3, both. VJ, growth. Okay, got it. Awesome. So it's either growth or both. So that makes sense. That rhymes. Look at that. I'm a rapper. All right, so stat 2. This one blew me away. I'm curious to see what you guys' thoughts on this are. So this is from PwC's 28th Annual Global CEO Survey, and that's this year. 42% of CEOs believe their company will not be viable in 10 years if it continues on its current path, obviously highlighting the urgency for reinvention. So I'm curious, do you guys agree with this in your business? Disagree is a 2. So agree is a 1, disagree is a 2.
I'm afraid to actually enter this because I don't want to freak out anybody from the bank that reads it, but
exactly.
Yes.
It's funny. Gail 1, Richard 2. Okay, so Richard's confident. Okay, good. So the interesting thing this brings up to me is AI, right? Like I think when AI was originally introduced, it was all about, well, we're gonna there goes all the blue collar workers. But in reality, what's happening? It's the thought workers that are the ones that are kind of like, oh my God, do I even need a lawyer anymore? Do I even need an accountant anymore? So it's really interesting to see how this thing is manifesting itself. But either way, we want to make sure we are focusing on customers and doing the right thing by our customers, which brings me to stat number 3. 65% of CEOs say establishing and maintaining customer trust will have a greater impact on their organization's success than any specific technology or innovation. So curious, type 1 for agree, 2 for disagree on this. And VJ, I think it no longer has 10-year runway. Ooh, geez, VJ's even more serious on that. Okay, Matt says 1, Gerhard 1. Yeah, I agree. Richard 1. All right, good. We're all in agreement there. So, and this was the IBM Global C-Suite series. So we're seeing the same thing. And the cool thing about today is we're going to focus on how to either get new customers, expand business with our existing customers, essentially make sure we're really dialed in on their care-abouts and their needs so that we can go to the next level for them. So before we dive in, I just want to kind of set the stage. Today, we're going to walk through 5 critical growth questions that every business owner can use to really self-assess where your business is today. And that's the collaborative part that we're going to go through today. So those 5 questions are as follows, and we'll unpack them along the way. The first one is, do you have true product market fit? 2 is, are you exposed to concentration risk? 3 is, hey, Jamie. Saw you pop up there. 3 is, have you maximized revenue from existing customers? 4 is, are you fast enough to compete? And then 5 is, are your systems scalable or dependent on key people? So here's the thing. Each question will actually build on the last, and by the end, you're going to have a bit of a diagnostic view of where you are today, plus a mini playbook, if you want to call it that, of what to work on first and where to go to work in your business. So question 1, do you have true product market fit? And I will open up the floor once we start to get some interaction. So I know I'm kind of going fast here, but we also have 1 hour. So I got 46 minutes left. I want to dump a ton of value on you guys. So true product market fit. So this is where it all begins. If your product or service doesn't truly match the needs of the market, everything else, your marketing, your sales, even customer success becomes 10 times harder. So before we optimize, we got to look at that, right? So here's the reality. When we look at product market fit, and I've worked with a lot of companies, we work with over, probably at this point, 150, 200 companies over the last 18 years of doing this. But the reality is that everyone thinks their own product is amazing, right? Like, my dog's the cutest, my kid's the cutest out of the whole school. Like, our thing is the best, right? Maybe it's true, but not always, right? So the market tells the truth. Product market fit shows up in 4 ways. First is that customers will stick around. If you have product market fit, you're going to see high customer retention. Second is they actually use your product. Not just, hey, I bought it, but it's sitting on a shelf somewhere or not getting logged into if it's a software platform. 3, they tell others. Referrals are really happening. They're coming to you. People are saying, hey, I saw your thing, or Wally said you guys were great. Let's take a look. 4 is that they pay without hesitation. You don't have to go and do deep discounting or arm twisting to get them to work with you. It makes sense. They see the value right away. Now, here's the thing. If you don't see all 4 of these, it's a sign you've got work to do on your offer before you try to optimize other parts of your business. It doesn't mean you don't have an offer, you're not on your way to product market fit. It's just a sign. Use it as a signal that, hey, every time we're in a deal, I feel like we got to discount 20%, otherwise we don't get it. So just start paying attention to those things as you go back to your day-to-day. So here's the first exercise. Exercise 1, offer and product market fit. So if we look at this from a kind of rubber meets the road standpoint, I want to ask you these 4 questions. And the way that we're going to do this is have you rate yourself. Each question, I want to give you to give yourself a 1 to a 5. 1 means I got a lot of work to do here. 5 means you're rock solid on it. And just tally up the scores. It's going to be 4 questions on this one. Just tally up the scores and we'll talk about it in a second. So the first question is, does your offer directly solve your ideal customer's most urgent problems? And if they, like, you may say, oh yeah, I'm all over it. But if they say things like, I'm all set, don't really need it right now, maybe next quarter, we'll look at this later. If you're starting to get those vibes, then maybe you're not a 5 on this, right? So give yourself a score, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Second, is it clear and easy for them to understand the value? Or are you finding that, when they meet with you and like Wally, I'll put you on the spot, your bank, they say like, great, you can give me money, I get it, but like, how are you any different than any other bank that I could walk into? Like, do we have clear value that they understand they can take away, or do we need multiple lengthy conversations to sell them? This would apply to software too, right? Like, I still don't get it. I don't see the value in this. Can you do a demo or another demo? Or can you bring in my IT team so they can see a demo? Like, maybe we haven't really done a good enough job pre-selling or giving them the ability to understand the value. So give yourself a 1 to 5 there. 3, do you have proof, testimonials, written, case studies, data that it actually works, that your service, your product you bring to them provides them the value that they think they're paying for, right? And then 4, are people buying without heavy discounting or pressure like we talked about on the last slide? So give yourself a score of 1 to 5 on each of those. So you're going to, when you total it up, you're going to get somewhere between a 4 and a 20. So what I'd like you to do is total those up and then throw your number into the chat just so we can get a sense for, is this something where you guys are all nailing it? Or, okay, we got a 10 with Wally right in the middle. What else we got? Wally, out of those 4, while I'm waiting for others to come in, what Gerhard's a 10 in the middle too. Wally, what are like maybe 1 or 2 of those things that you think we could do a little bit of work on?
I'll throw it all out there.
Sure.
I did 2, 2, 4, and 2.
2, 2, 4, and 2. 2, 2, 4,
Yeah.
and 2. Got it. Okay, got it. All right, that's pretty clear.
I want to be in VJ's business.
VJ, 18.
Because I don't want to be in VJ's business. I just think VJ's doing something right that I'm not. And
That's
you're
awesome.
absolutely right, Kevin. For me, trying to differentiate is tricky. And
Yep.
I know what we have. And it's funny, my marketing director, Jamie Conahan, is on the call. It's very tricky to convey the value.
Yeah.
But it's out there. I believe it is.
Yep.
And maybe it does take a little bit more. Our strongest one is the testimonials. We have a lot of very happy customers that appreciate, what we bring to the table in terms of flexibility,
Love it.
Loyalty, patience, all of that stuff, creativity.
That's
but
awesome.
some of the, money's money, and certainly we are always pressured. So it's hard to achieve I'd call it a appropriate spread, to justify the extra work that we're putting into it to provide value.
Well, the funny thing is like we just got to look at who is doing the valuing here, right? It's like I can go and put my house on the market for $20 million, and I think that's the value. Who sets the value in the market in real estate? In any market, honestly, it's the buyer. So even if I throw it at $20 million, it's irrelevant unless someone actually sees the same $20 million house. So the buyer persona is the thing. It's the thing to figure out the differentiator, like why, like what will they care about when I show up? So this is it right here. So if our product or service truly solves a meaningful problem for them that they've stated in their words and the market wants it, the next critical question is, are you pointing this offer or this service at the right people? Because even the best offer in the world will fail if you're aiming it at the wrong target. So when we look at buyer persona, the fastest way to stand out in sales isn't by pitching harder. It's by proving you understand that you understand your buyer better than anyone else. It's using their language, right? Getting great outreach means speaking their language, not yours. If we're using a bunch of acronyms and gobbledygook that matters to us but not to them, whether it's software or banking or consulting speak, they don't care. They want their language seen on the website and on the collateral, etc. If you sound like a brochure, essentially you're going to lose. So the third one is mapping goals to pain, right? So every single touch point, every email you send, every call that you make, every LinkedIn outreach you make, proposals, they should all connect back to the real world goals or pains that your buyer cares about. So it's great that you have a lot to talk about with your thing or your service, but it's got to be about them first, and that's what's going to draw them into you. And then lastly, remember, your job isn't to just try to convince someone to buy. You're guiding them. It's to connect. It's to build trust. It's to show them that you get and you understand what they're up against. So that takes us into exercise number 2. So we've talked about the offer and product market fit. So let's assess the buyer persona. So the first question here, and again, there's only 3 questions this time, and score yourself 1 to 5. But can you describe your ideal customer in under 30 seconds? Right? That includes vertical industry, titles, demographics, psychographics, like why would they buy? What's their compelling event that needs to happen for them to buy, right? If you can't describe this within 30 seconds or less, chances are good that your team also can't either, right? And that's a clarity problem. So that's the first question. Second is, do you know the top 3 problems your ideal customers would pay to solve right now? Not just complain about that, but they would pay to get them solved right now. And if you can't list them, you're probably missing the mark with maybe some of your messaging. And then the third is, are 80% of your sales, this is what Wally was talking about earlier, are 80% of your sales coming from your best fit customers, or are you wasting energy on bad fit deals that suck time and margin? Huge. All right, so take a minute, score yourself, and let's see some of the scores in there. So this time it's going to be a 3 to a 15 or so. Let's see what VJ's got for us here. Putting VJ on the spot. Gerhard's got a 7 on that one. Okay, that's good. Wally's got an 8. Good. Richard coming in with a big 11. Jamie's got an 8. No VJ on this one. All right, we'll keep going. Okay, so again, all this is for you to take a look at it and say, okay, where can I go to work, after this presentation? Next thing, I'm going to share something. This is a fun trick that we implemented years and years ago, and we keep doing it, and it keeps working. So one of my favorite exercises, I call it the highlighter trick. Gerhard knows this one too. So you take a minute, like imagine printing out your website, your sales scripts, your email templates, your LinkedIn messages, whatever it is, anything that's customer facing. And then I want you to grab 2 color highlighters, one in yellow, one in green, we'll call it. So the one in yellow, this is for you. This is where you talk about your company, your product, your features. Maybe you've got that 2%, interest rate there. That goes like front and center. That's about the thing you're selling, right? Then in the green, I want it to be all about the customers. This is where you're going to show results, outcome, proof, value. So anything in green is going to be really about them and what they're excited about reading on your website or your collateral. Once you start highlighting, you're going to start to see pretty quickly where the message is skewed. It's either heavy, like it's a glowing yellow, or green. Maybe there's a balance, right? And if you don't want to print your website out, I got a link here for you. There's this little tool Colin showed me this morning that you can plug into Chrome. I'll throw this in chat here.
I've dumped in a chat.
Oh, you have? Okay, cool. Perfect. Okay, so sorry, I don't need to do that. All right, so what that is, it just allows you to go and actually highlight your website as on the fly. But here's where it gets fun, right? So when you review what you see, you're going to see a lot of glowing yellow, and if you do, your message is too focused on you. Maybe your product, maybe your features, maybe your story. But prospects don't buy because of you and what you think is great. They buy because you solve a problem they care about. A lot of cases, I'm saying something that's so fundamentally basic that you're like, yeah, Kevin, of course. But when you go back and you look at it and you start doing the blocking and tackling, you may see things that, frankly, I've been coaching this for years, and there was stuff on our website that missed the mark. So I highly encourage you to go back and take a look and see, is everything the way we think it is? Because over time, we just forget. We just kind of get into our mode, right? So if you're more heavy on yellow, time to rebalance your messaging. Pretty clear. All right, now I'd like to get your response, if you could. Just give me a yellow or a green. When you think about your website, and maybe you just pulled it up on a separate browser, which are you? Are you more yellow or are you more green? And this time, well, actually, I'm gonna have you be the judge of some other websites too, so you're gonna get to put this in action. But would love to hear what you guys think about your own websites, yellow or green right now. It's okay, you're in a safe space. Nobody will tell. VJ gets a yellow. Okay, there we go. We got some work for VJ, finally. Yellow, yep. We were too, and we're still trying to emerge from yellow to green, so I feel the pain. Yellow, there you go. Isn't that funny though? Like here's what makes it even funnier. Watch this. Now you guys are going to be the judge. So here's one. Put it into practice. So here's a website. These folks we spoke to, they basically they do software to support the cannabis industry. So whether it's the people growing it, the dispensaries selling it, or the distribution channel partners that move it from one facility to another, right? So that's what they sell. So I want you guys to be the judge here. When you see this website, it says, join the POS revolution. And then it says, right over here, Toke's unique centralized POS is built to enhance operations while removing heavy subscription costs for businesses. So at the surface, what would you guys rate this? A yellow, or a green?
I say green.
You say green? Why?
Well, because it starts with the heavy subscription costs.
Okay.
Maybe it needs to be bigger, but that's a pain point.
You hit it. Yeah, you hit it on the head. So I was going to say the same thing. It's like, so you go to the thing that you care about as a potential buyer, right? Heavy subscription costs for businesses right there. Why on earth would I put in 72-point font something? Wally, what does this mean? Join the POS revolution.
I completely agree.
Nobody knows.
But
right?
that's...
Exactly. Yeah. So here's an example. So you got it, right? So here's an example of what it could be. So Colin did a mock-up saying POS to enhance operations and reduce costs. And then you get into maybe the 10-point font that says, heavy subscription costs. But now I'm hooked. Now, since I'm the one that's going to be buying this software, that's what I care about, enhancing operations, reducing costs. Now you pulled me into like looking at this website a little deeper. So the point here and the theme is like, don't scare them away with a headline. Like you want it to be catchy, but you want it to be relevant to the person that's going to be reading the website. So the first thing you think about is, who do I want to read this website? And then what do they care about? And you go backwards into the buyer persona. Make sense? Pretty good? Okay, cool. I see some nods. All right, here's the next one. What do you guys give this one? We'll just call it a 1 for a yes, it's clear. 2, no, the value is not clear. So this is Cohesity. They sell some IT stuff. What do you guys give this, a 1 or a 2? Yes is a 1, no is a 2. In the chat. See if I get more 1s or 2s here. 2. 2, 2. All right, so why are we saying 2? Any feedback? Gerhard, what do you think on this? You'll have to unmute yourself, though.
Well, I mean, you got to talk about cyber resilience, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you supercharge it, right? It's still ambiguous. It's still ambiguous. It's not a tight fit.
Exactly. Totally ambiguous. Like, what does that even mean? Supercharge, like, I don't even know what that means. I honestly, some of these guys in the space don't even know what cyber resilience means, and they do cybersecurity every day of the week. So resilience, is that like I'm almost secure? Not real. I'm just kind of resilient, but I'm not really. Like it opens up too many questions. And then, by the way, they're advertising a webinar or a summit right below here. Again, that's about them. The summit you may think is about you, but that's about them getting people in seats at a summit, right? The value should be front and center here. It's interesting. I'll put it that way. Here's the last one, or second to last one that I'll put up there. How about this one? Exploring mysteries of molecular microcosm. Our mission is to develop novel concepts supported by scientific and technical solutions that will provide efficient and effective substitute, blah, 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 blah. What do you guys give this, a 1 or a 2? I think it's probably going to be
0.
Yeah, 0. It's going to be probably pretty unanimous. No idea what this does. Like, even if I am a molecular microcosm guy, I want to know providing what business result, right? These guys are actually targeting medical facilities and medical practices, but it would be nice to know, like, what is this and how would it benefit me? All right, let me give you a layup. What do you guys think about this one? I see Jamie nodding. Yep. Powerful landing pages that convert. Can it be any clearer? Pretty much a home run, right? Launch high converting landing pages faster, generate qualified leads, and optimize your marketing efforts all with one simple solution. If we're marketing this to Jamie or to me or to Wally as marketing people, that's a home run. One more, Asana, where your teams and AI coordinate, work together. See how your work connects to goals while working alongside AI that understands your business. 1 or a 2? I see nods, probably a 1. Yep. So you can see the difference, right? Like, it's pretty clear. It's like once you see it, you can't unsee it. So the highlighter trick is something I highly recommend you do in your business. And then you're like, well, this is great, Kevin, but I don't know, like, how do I come up with what the buyer cares about? You go and you do a deep dive on the buyer persona, right? So everything will roll back up to that. My sales efforts aren't getting engagement. My marketing is not getting conversions. No one's like clicking through on the website or on the emails I send. Well, take a look at it. If you're them and you read it from their lens, is there anything of value here? Right? That's huge. So here's a takeaway for you when you download the slides. This one's pretty good. It's an annotated example. It shows some of the elements to make messaging clear, right? Clear headline, proof, visuals, social proof, and results. Now, there's a lot packed onto this page. I'm not saying this page is like the best thing since sliced bread, but it gives you some ideas of things that when you show up, you feel like, all right, yes, I want my dream career. Like, how do you help me unlock that? Well, here's what we do. I see some immediate proof. 95,000 people are favoring this thing. Like right away, I feel like, okay, these guys are definitely on to something. Let me scroll and see how I get started. So those are the elements that you're going to want to look at. And Colin and I did some research this morning. Statistically, check this one out. Statistically, 57% of visitors only see above the fold section of your website. They don't even scroll, right? 57%. So if you can't hit it out of the park here, they're not even going lower. Pretty crazy, right? So your goal is to get them hooked, to have them keep scrolling. So your website and your messaging should pass that 10-second test, where if a prospect can't instantly see the value you bring to them, you're likely losing them. Like if my website says consulting sold here, done. They're moving on. I don't even know what consulting you provide, but that's a thing you sell. Not interested. I don't get how you help me. So that's the goal. All right. So exercise 3, message and positioning. So question 1, there's 3 questions here that I want you to rate yourself on. Question 1, is your messaging written in your customer's language? Or does it say POS? Right? Like, is POS like the language that these guys care about? After talking to the CEO of that company, the answer is no. He's like, I don't even know why we put that up there. And they still haven't changed it, and it's been a month. So too often we write our internal jargon, POS, whatever. Prospects don't care about your acronyms or features. They care about what it does for them. So that's key. Second question, do you have 3 clear differentiators that competitors can't claim? This would be a good one for banking. It's a good one for consulting, definitely. And we do funnels and sales enablement. So we have to differentiate ourselves from, the hacks out there that think they can just jump in and create a funnel and have no idea of some of the background. So we have to have unique differentiators as well. Third, do you prospects get what you do in under 10 seconds? Right? Oh, that's interesting, Gail, but I don't understand it. Like, tell me more about your microcosm, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what I mean? All right, so give yourself the scores. 3 to 15. 3 is we got some work to do here. 15 is we're knocking this out of the park. Everything on our website, everything in our collateral, our messaging is all written about them. What do you guys score yourselves? Put it in the chat. Gerhard, looking good. 8. If I had time, I'd love to pull up websites here too. Wally's got a 7. That's good. Right in the middle. Jamie, 7. Okay, cool. All right, so keep self-scoring. So question number 2 out of our 5 questions. Question number 2, are you exposed to concentration risk? So let's talk about this. So what concentration risk is when too much of your revenue is tied up in too few customers. So Wally, this is probably one you don't have an issue on, but on the surface, it may feel great to have like a handful of clients that are driving big numbers for our business. Like, we're killing it. We got 5 customers and that's 100% of our business. Well, it can put you in a fragile position, right? So if you look at like just statistically, do your top 5 customers account for more than half of your revenue? If the answer is yes, then you're definitely exposed to concentration risk. So basically 1 or 2 of those go away. And I'll tell you from personal experience, this year has been tough for us. Early in the year, we lost about 6 clients all at once. 2 that were natural because it came to the end of our engagements. It was expected. They were both annual engagements. 1 went out of business. 1 was dramatically impacted by the tariffs. And then actually 2 others had to pause because their customers went away. So they had concentration risk. So that helped us pretty quickly determine we need to pivot and do more on a monthly recurring revenue basis versus project-based stuff. So we've started strategically blending in more MRR, ARR capabilities into our business model. This is where I'm envious of a banking or an insurance business model because that's what you guys got, or wealth management, right? But we all have different challenges in our business. So take a look at that. From my perspective, diversification isn't optional. It's survival. You need it. So how do we do that? Well, we do it by making sure sales and marketing funnel is firing on all cylinders. So is everyone familiar with this sales and marketing funnel looking thing? Like you get top of funnel, lead gen, all that. So if you've been around for a year, you probably have seen something like this, right? So the best way to protect yourself against concentration risk is simple. It's not always easy, but it's simple in concept. We need a steady stream of new customers coming in. So when we peel back the onion on this, we look at, is your business growth diversified across many accounts, or is it vulnerable to one client leaving, by looking at top of funnel, like ads, like are we capturing leads? Are we doing everything possible to bring more into our funnel? I'm going to break that out in a second. And then it goes to the middle. Like, are we nurturing them into appointments? We see a big gap in this area quite frequently. And then at the bottom, we close deals and keep customers. Is that happening? Or are we scaring them away with our pricing once we unload the pricing? And then after the funnel, once the deal is closed, the best source of growth is referrals, powered by customer success and testimonials. Do we systematically ask for referrals? So if we break this down at a granular level, we look at the top of funnel. At the top, you need to drive that consistent traffic. So are we doing Facebook ads, Google ads, LinkedIn ads? If we're not doing paid traffic, then they got to be coming from somewhere else. Like, oh no, Kevin, I'm all set. We do content on YouTube and LinkedIn, and that generates all of our leads. Okay, that's good. But what about like Google My Business, right? For local businesses, we find that a lot of businesses don't even go and claim their Google My Business, and they're missing out on a stream of people that are searching for massage parlor near me or restaurant near me. They haven't even captured it yet. What about outreach to existing lists? We all have lists, whether it's one contact or 1 million contacts, but are we nurturing that list? Are we sending emails? Are we inviting them to events like this? Networking and partnerships. Are we keeping our partnerships alive? Wally and I have known each other since we were kids, but professionally, we did something like this in person 10 years ago, but it was still okay for me to reach back out to him and say, hey, do you mind if we do this again? He was like, sure. So are we nurturing those partnerships and building more relationships moving forward? And then word of mouth referrals. Are they even showing up, right? So then when we look at the middle, this is about nurturing those leads into appointments or to engagements. If we're not moving leads into actual conversations, then we've got a clog in the funnel, right? A log jam. And then at the bottom, it's all about execution. Are the proposals getting signed, deals closed, customers onboarded? Because at the end of the day, if we deliver real value, we can unlock that referral engine at the bottom of it so that becomes our best source of lead growth, right? So each stage has to work collaboratively in order for this to work. So let's look at the flip side of that. Where do the leaks exist? The truth is, most funnels, I would say all funnels leak somehow, some way, but most businesses don't realize it. So the revenue doesn't necessarily slip away because of one big mistake, like, oh, we're not doing any kind of lead gen. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. Like, we're doing some lead gen, but we're not doing paid, or we're not doing any content, but all we do is we go to networking events. That's 100% of our business. That's cool, but imagine if we fired on all cylinders, right? Small leaks at different points in the funnel drain growth. So where and why do most funnels break? Well, at the top, pipeline's not consistent. Many times it's lack of the things we just talked about: paid ads, networking events, referrals. Like this is like simple blocking and tackling. And in some cases, I asked one of my neighbors, I said, what networking events have you been to recently? He's like, we never do those. I'm like, well, why not? And he had no answer. He's like, it's a good point. We can go meet up. You can look on LinkedIn, even jump into LinkedIn groups. You can do virtual speed dating. Like, what a great way to get high trust, high value in your extended network immediately. And it's just, you know what? I just never thought of it. Haven't been doing it. That's the goal of today, right? Middle of funnel. Why are we leaking out there? This is where most companies fall down. It's with follow-up. A lead comes in. If there's no nurture system in place, they go cold fast. I like to joke, we call leads, Colin and I call leads age like milk. They don't age like wine. They get more stale very quickly. They don't get better if you don't touch them, right? That's not how that works. So the crazy part is that follow-up, it's the cheapest lever you have to pull, but it's the one that's most neglected. It's just so ridiculous. It doesn't cost anything. Just send them an email. Jump on them. Like, as soon as they come in, Don't follow up 48 hours later. Follow up within 5 minutes, because that's when they're curious. That's when they're engaged, right? Then we look at bottom of funnel. Deals get lost. ROI isn't tracked. Handoffs between marketing and sales are messy, right? The old marketing chucked it over the wall to me and they expected me to close it, but turns out it's actually a crap lead. It doesn't fit my buyer persona. And then marketing saying, well, sales stinks because they don't know how to close our leads and we generate great leads. So it's always that back and forth. Break down that wall and make sure that handoff is crystal clear. What is an MQL? What is an SQL, right? Marketing qualified lead, sales qualified lead. Make sure you guys are on the same page of that, because as customer churn creeps in, it's usually because of that. There's a missed handoff. And then finally, almost no one captures referrals systematically. Like every business we ask, like, so what's your referral process? Oh, well, we get referrals. I'm like, do you ask for them? No, we get them when we get them. Like if you have a system in place to ask for testimonials and reviews, most people, if they're happy with their service, they're happy to do it. We just don't ask. So let's be thoughtful and value driven to ask that question. All right, so now I'm going to shut up for a second. We're going to go to exercise 4, sales process follow through. So this is the next question. So this is all about execution. How well do you move those opportunities through the pipeline? So the first question, so there's 4 on this page. Nope, there's 6. This is a big one. So first one is, do you know your conversion rates at each stage of the funnel, right? So top to middle, middle to bottom, bottom to close deal. Do you know what it looks like? Like if I throw in 100 leads, and I know that I go 100, I get nurtured, I nurture 50 of them, then that's going to get me 10 meetings, and then those 10 meetings are going to get me 3 proposals, and 3 proposals are going to get me 1 deal. Do you know your numbers? Second question, how fast do you follow up with new inquiries? Is it like, oh yeah, I got a bunch of leads, I just got to get back to it. I went to a trade show yesterday, and I got 15 business cards. How long does it take you to get back to them? And why didn't you get back to them before you even left the trade show, is my question usually. So how fast do we get back with new inquiries? And give yourself a 1 to 5 on this too. Are your customers coming back for more, or do they disappear or vanish after the first sale? Oh yeah, no, we get a ton of customers. Great. How many have bought the second time? Oh, well, actually, not a lot. 4, have you set up your Google My Business listing correctly to generate top of funnel leads? I put this in there because Jamie brought it up to me in our prep call, and I'm like, that's a great point. Like some people don't even claim the darn thing. Like how are you going to get leads from it? This is like low hanging. This is free money, right? Most SMBs don't really dive into the depth that they do. You see a lot of local businesses are definitely all over this, like white on rice, but did you have, like, I really hadn't paid too much attention to mine because we do business all over the country. It's still something that you want to take a look at. Okay, number 5, do you have a system for automated review requests? Think of those reviews, like I was talking earlier, like digital equivalent of printing money. They build trust, drive new leads on autopilot. And then number 6 is, do you have active partnerships, referral channels, or RFP lists fueling your pipeline? The only reason I'm talking to some of you on this call today is because of that relationship I have with Wally, and we did a collaborative webinar. That's it. So do you have those? So score yourself 1 to 5 on each one of these, and there you go. VJ, 26, looking good. So you're going to be somewhere between what's my math here, 6 to 30. So VJ's high. This is good. I love it. VJ, we'll talk again. Trust me. This is awesome. I love hearing the success. So each of you keep pumping those in, and then I'm going to keep moving fast. We got 14 minutes left. So question 3, have you maximized revenue from existing customers? This is kind of the coup de grace. Like while we're trying to build that funnel and make sure we got the diversification going on, let's make sure we're doing everything possible for our existing customer base. This one definitely applies to banks, applies to us, probably applies to everyone on this call. Here's the deal. Business is moving faster than ever, and markets are incredibly efficient. That means that competition is more intense, and acquiring new customers is harder and more expensive than it's ever been. So if you just look at ad platforms like Google, for instance, the cost to acquire a customer has nearly doubled since 2020. So if you look at this chart here, you see in 2020, this is a Google cost per click snapshot for the legal industry, something going on in the legal industry. It was costing $19.50 for a click for whatever the keyword is on this campaign, right? So about $20 back in 2020. 5 years later, doubled. It's almost $40. So any high value keywords or pay-per-click, phrases are seeing a similar trajectory, right? So I'm not saying don't go after new business. I'm just saying just know what you're in for, right? It's expensive. We got to be on our game, which is why it's really important that we understand our buyer persona and our messaging is on point. Because if I'm paying for $40 clicks and I keep saying POS and like missing the mark and microcosms or whatever, I'm just burning, I'm burning money. So that would be bad. Okay, so that's why one of the smartest growth strategies is leaning into existing customers. They already trust you, and expanding those relationships is the fastest way to grow. So I'd like to introduce you to this concept called the white space report. Does anyone know what a white space report is? Some of you guys? Yes? No? Show of hands. A little bit. Gerhard, I think you know. Jamie? Maybe? Yeah? No? Okay, so what it is, for those of you that don't know, super simple report, simple tool, but super powerful. It gives you a visual to see where do I go to work tomorrow. So basically what you do is you grab a spreadsheet and then you're going to list every service or product across the top. So you see there product 1, product 2, service 1, 2, 3, etc. So all your offerings go up there. And then down the left column is where you're going to put every customer. Customer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you play bingo. Like what does customer 1 have they bought from us? Product 2 and service 2. Customer 2 bought product 1, product 2, but no services. Interesting. And then you keep going through it. And this exercise usually takes like minimal amounts of time. I mean, if you have 10,000 customers, okay, maybe a little longer, but you get the point. But here's the thing. Mark what each customer's purchased. And then most customers, most businesses discover that they've only sold like 20 to 30% of their possible services or products to their existing customers. And you're like, well, gee, I can't bog them down, or I don't want to ask too much. Like, no, it's like when you solve a problem, it opens up another loop or creates another problem, right? So like in Gerhard and my space, we train people to do this stuff, increase revenue growth and all that stuff. But I've gone in some cases, I've done sales training for a company, and they're like, this is awesome. Thanks so much for the sales training. I'm like, awesome, put it to work. They're like, yeah, so we can't put it to work. I'm like, why is that? Well, we don't have enough leads now. I'm like, so let me get this straight. I just trained your salespeople how to sell, but you don't have enough leads filling into the process. They're like, yeah, that's a problem. So in that case, it opened up the problem, but it was kind of backwards. But you see where this is going. If I buy sneakers, what am I going to need? Shoelaces. If I buy a hamburger, I'm going to need fries, right? So we always look at what's that next thing that we could sell them, and are we currently offering it to them? So the way this works and why this works is that it shows you those low-hanging fruit opportunities. It shows gaps in customer adoption, right? Like, how come nobody's getting our annuity offer? Well, it's because we're not presenting it. We're always talking about, the investment and the more at brokerage accounts or whatever, right? It's going to help you focus and prioritize what do I say the next time I outreach to that existing customer. It sets you up for that communication, right? And then once you've built this thing out, the gaps literally jump off the page. So all these little bullseyes that just popped open here, they represent new upsell and cross-sell opportunities for you. The customers already trust you. They just don't know that you offer this other thing. Like, oh, Gerhard, I know you sold sneakers, but I had no idea you sell shoelaces too. This is amazing, right? So it could be that, but you get my point. I'm trying to be tongue-in-cheek here, but it's just thinking through like, oh my God, I've got a pipeline here of maybe 20 new opportunities that have been sitting there, but now I'm just paying attention to them, and it only takes like an hour. What do you guys think of this? Is this like an aha moment for anyone? Like, is this like, yeah, Kevin, I've done this already, but anyone? Let me see if I can get some faces here. Thanks for laughing, Jamie. Richard, I can't see you. Janine, Matt, BJ. Okay. So is this any good? Can someone give me like a 1, like, yeah, this is good, or 2, like, Kevin, you're off the mark? I know we're coming close. 1, definitely. Okay, 1. You guys are awesome. Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure I'm being relevant. All right, so then beyond white space report, when we're looking at optimizing our revenue, it's just the beginning. We're also going to look at expanding lifetime value. That could be the upsells, the cross-sells, complementary services, bundles, right? Think McDonald's. Do you want to supersize that? Do you want fries with that? So look at every aspect of your business where you can add these other things in to introduce more value to your customers. It's called upsells or cross-sells. I like to think of it as introducing them or guiding them to additional value I can bring to the table. So exercise 5, we're going to go quick. 4 questions. Question 1, Have you created a white space report to see what products or services each customer hasn't yet purchased from you? If the answer is no, give yourself a 1. If it's yes and you're on it like white on rice, give yourself a 5. 2, do you have systematic upsell, cross-sell, or bundle offers in place? If not, think about it, right? So like what we did, we used to do just consulting. Then it's like what we found is the biggest struggle for our clients is execution. Like, Kevin, thanks for this download of info, but what the hell do I do with it? Where do I put it? How do I execute on it? Well, it turns out we have this platform called Growth Stack where we can actually help you execute on it. So it's stuff like that. Like, do you have the next thing to introduce to them? 3, are you running on automated revenue referral engine to capture word of mouth growth? You may say, yeah, anytime someone refers me, I'm good to go. But are you asking for it? Right? Like I used to work with Northwestern Mutual and we do monthly engagements with them. And part of their deal was before we walked in the meeting, we looked at 15 people that they were connected to on LinkedIn so that at the end of the meeting, you can say, hey, Wally, I noticed you're connected to Gerhard and Jamie. Would it be okay if I asked for a favorable introduction to them to share with them how we helped you? It's like, yeah, actually, well, Gerhard's not the guy, but I can tell you Gail's the one. I can introduce you to Gail. So it just gets things going. We just got to ask because you're providing value. 4, do you know the lifetime value of your average customer? And are you actively working to increase it? That's a big one. If it's like, yeah, we're all one and done. Every engagement's $5,000 and I never see him again. Okay, so then how do I turn that into $20,000 by adding more value? So give yourself a score on those, and I'm going to race to the finish here. We got 6 more minutes. Is this good? Is this helpful? Good information? Nods? Okay, cool. All right, race to the finish. Question 4. Are you fast enough to compete? It's funny, I'm racing to the finish. So here we go. So speed kills your competition. How's that? A little play on words. So speed is a competitive weapon. Think about Amazon, right? So 2-day shipping became 1 day. Now it's same day. Now they're dropping drone stuff out of the sky onto your porch. It's like wackadoodle, but it's real. The same expectation is happening in every industry, right? Like even whether it's banks, like do we even do branches anymore? Because everyone's doing it online. Well, yeah, but if we don't do branches, we lose a personality. So it's like part of it's like we got to figure that like how does speed play into all of those decisions? Another one, customers want instant responses. They want quick delivery. They want seamless buying experiences. So if you're slow to reply, like, yeah, I took those 15 cards from the trade show. I'll follow up with them next week. You may have just missed all those opportunities. Slow to fulfill, slow to close deals. You are losing business to someone faster. Not to put too much pressure on you, but that's just the facts, right? So the key takeaway here is that time is money and speed directly impacts revenue. So don't just focus on how fast you are, but and that's good and pat yourself on the back, right? But look at where are we currently slow in that whole funnel? Is it follow-up? Is it getting the proposal out the door? Is it I've got to do 4 demos of my products before they get it? Like, where can we tighten up the speed in that? Because it's ultimately going to provide a better customer experience and it's going to help you close more business. So the 4 questions for speed and responsiveness are as follows. How quickly do you respond to new inquiries? And pay attention to it, right? Like give yourself a 1 if it's like 48 hours. You may have to give yourself a 1 if it's 24 hours when the expectation is, I need to hear back in 5 minutes, right? Like if I'm calling a plumber because water is gushing out of my sink, 48 hours ain't gonna cut it, right? How fast do you fulfill your promises? I will get you a proposal this week. When this week? In 48 hours, not good enough. How quickly can prospects say yes? Decision clarity, right? That could be, do they have to go through a lengthy demo or do they have to go through 2 demos? Or could they watch your demo before they even meet with you so that they're like, I'm good to go. You don't even have to show me a demo. Let's get the contract rolling, right? So can they say yes quickly? How quickly? And then and that's good for software companies, definitely. 4, are your systems set up to automate speed? Do you have CRM in one place? Does it incorporate AI? Workflows like AI could be phone number. Like we're set right now. We're setting up AI receptionists to answer phones for our customers 24/7, 365. And it's not just like, hi, let me take a message. It's like, hey, how can I help you? And we're in a conversation because we back end it with a knowledge base. And now we can take that knowledge base and say, oh, it sounds like you want to be on Gerhard's schedule. He's available Tuesday and Thursday at 2 or 4. Which of these works better for you? And we're booking meetings using AI that way. Kevin, that must cost a ton of money. Yeah, it's about less than the cost of a Starbucks coffee each day for a month. Like it's literally less than a couple $100. So anyhow, so do you have these things in place to be able to automate speed within your environment? Question 5, is your business designed to run on great systems, or is it at the risk of being too dependent on great people? Now, we all want great people in our business, but has anyone here read the book, The E-Myth? Wally, Gerhard, yep. Jamie, yes, no, Gail? I can't see. So anyone who hasn't, this is a really good book. Basically, it just walks through how do we systematize and essentially franchise our business model so that our system becomes the delivery to our customers. It's not like if Kevin gets hit by a bus, then our whole business is gone. Like we don't want that, right? That's bad. So here's the ultimate scalability test. Ready? If you disappeared for 30 days, would your business run smoothly or would it fall apart? And if you're running a business and you're the one that's keeping this whole thing going and you can't just disappear for 30 days, then take a look at that, right? Second, there's really only 2 paths. Path 1 is personal dependency, and that's where critical outcomes rely on specific individuals. Often in this, in the case of like entrepreneurs and founders that we work with, it's that person. It's the founder. It's a handful of key employees. Path 2 is systematic operations, where outcomes are driven by documented, repeatable processes and systems. Think McDonald's, right? And this is where the E-Myth gets it right. If you've got great systems, you don't necessarily need superstar talent in every role. You can hire good people who run the system, and the system delivers the results. That's how franchises scale, right? People don't invent new processes. They follow the proven ones and keep making them better over time. All right, so that takes us to the last self-assessment, and I'm going to do this real quick. We got 20 seconds. Can everyone stay for like a couple more minutes, maybe, hopefully? Okay, all right, so self-assessment on systems. Question 1, do your most important processes live in people's heads or in a documented system or systems or SOPs, standard operating procedures? That's critical. Number 2, could a new hire follow your systems without reinventing the wheel? Number 3, are you available or are you able to refine and improve systems over time, or are you constantly resolving the same problems? Yep, saw it yesterday, let me fix it again. Yep, saw it yesterday. And then number 4, if a key team member left tomorrow, would the system keep running or would the business stall in that particular area? Like I just said, Kevin gets hit by a bus, we get trouble, right? I got trouble, obviously. So bringing it home, summary, next step, special offer. So special offer, I'm going to go real quick on the myth, right? This stuff is too expensive. I kind of brought this in. You may think like, Kevin, this all sounds awesome, but let's address the white elephant in the room. It's probably super expensive. Like I can't afford this stuff, whatever. Not true, right? So what we're talking about is that literally for the cost of whatever I put here, Starbucks double chocolatey chip frappuccino, $7 a day. For that kind of investment, you can turn on AI receptionists. You can set up nurture sequences. That doesn't cost you anything. You do that within your CRM today. If you have the right CRM. You can automate processes to speed up your funnel. You can reply to customers better. You can build SOPs. So a lot of the stuff we talked about today, zero investment. Or if you're already doing a marketing spend, look at what you're spending your marketing on. Like, is our language hitting the mark? Are we getting a lot of clicks but no conversions? That tells you something. Are we paying attention to it? So everything I put out there today doesn't necessarily cost you more money. It just makes you focus more on like, are we getting the ROI that we need, right? Small day investments, big growth impact. Closing framework, I walked through the 5 questions. I'm going to let you guys download the slide here in a second. Here's what I recommend. Sorry, I'm going fast to the end here. Pick your lowest scoring area. I don't want you to go off this call and be like, well, that was nice, but I'm not going to do anything with it. Let's take action. Choose just one. Don't boil the ocean. Choose one improvement where you can work on it this week. Just start this week and then track progress. Hold each other accountable. So Wally, if you got something, Jamie, hold them accountable, or vice versa. Track and if any of you guys are solopreneurs, let us hold you accountable. I'd be happy to do it. And I'm actually about to jump on a call with my accountability team that they're going to hold me accountable and say, why are you late? I'm going to say, because I was on a webinar. So anyhow, track progress and adjust every 30 days. Special call to action. If you're like, Kevin, this resonated, It sounds good, sparked some ideas, also gave me some thoughts of where I've got some gaps. And if you want to walk through a conversation with us to help you kind of like resolve some of these gaps, my team and I, Colin, and our team will give you a free one-on-one growth strategy call. It costs nothing. Like Wally said, no exchange of capital on this call. This is all for you guys. Colin put the link in the chat to book a call. And here's the thing. My guarantee to anyone that takes a call with us is that we will show you at least 5 immediate optimizations in your sales and marketing funnel, or steak dinner is on us, or Uber Eats gift cards on us. $100 steak dinner. If you don't eat steak, I'll eat your steak and then I'll send you a Uber Eats card. How's that? So there, you can't you'll worst case, you'll get a steak dinner or an Uber Eats card. So Colin put that link in the chat. All right, so my promise to you was also I'm going to give you that toolbox of ideas, and I'm going to put that in the chat right now. I've got that thing here. Take this, download it, and you may want to save a copy of it. This is the toolbox for scaling with certainty. It's got strategic messaging worksheets. So if you're talking like buyer persona challenges, that's what that's good for. There's an AI prompt pack in there for sales teams. There's a little mini go-to-market template. So like go get new customers, and then a KPI dashboard. Whatever we measure, we manage better, right? And then I also gave you a bonus resource. I created this thing called the Ultimate Guide to ChatGPT. You get that too. Last but not least, here is the slides to today, right there in the chat. Grab those, download those, PDF format, and that's it. I am over time, but did we hit our big promise today? You get a picture of where your business is strong, hidden gaps, maybe holding you back. Small shifts could unlock major growth. Walk away with practical tools. That was my promise. Did we do it? 1 is yes, 2 is no. Awesome. All right, I got some ones. All right, so